The second you react, you've already lost. Not because they were right, because they moved you. And if someone can move you with a look, a delay, an insult, one joke that lands too hard, you are easier to control than you think. Most people hate hearing that. They say, "I just don't tolerate disrespect." No. You advertise what controls you. "I just speak my mind." No. You leak your mind. "I'm just being real." No. You're being read. People don't need years to understand you. They need one reaction, one cold response, one moment you feel replaced. That's enough. Because while you think you're expressing, they're measuring. While you think you're standing up for yourself, you're showing them where to strike next. And once someone knows that, they no longer need strength. They need triggers. So today, I'll show you the truth most people are too proud to hear. The second you react, you've already lost. You think people know you by what you say. Wrong. People know you by what breaks you. You can rehearse confidence. You can fake calm. You can act detached. You can post strength. None of it matters. Because one reaction erases 10 performances. One delayed text, and your mask slips. One disrespectful tone, and your real wiring appears. One person giving attention to someone else, and suddenly you're exposed. Let me say that carefully. Exposed. Not by them. By you. This is why some people barely speak around you, yet still understand you completely. They watch what changes your face. They watch what changes your voice. They watch what speeds you up. They watch what makes you explain too much. And from that, they know where your mind is weak. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." Meaning, the text was neutral. You made it rejection. The silence was neutral. You made it abandonment. The joke was neutral. You made it humiliation. Same event, different mind. That's why one person stays steady, while another unravels over nothing. And that is the truth people hate. Reaction is where the image dies, and the programming speaks. Some of you still think reactions are random. They're not. Every reaction points somewhere. Every single one. You flinch at disrespect? There's ego there. You panic when they pull away? There's dependency there. You rage at criticism. There's weakness there, trying to protect itself. You get jealous fast? There's comparison living in you already. Catch this carefully. People don't create your insecurity. They locate it. That's why two people hear the same insult. One laughs. One shakes. Same words. Different wound. Most people spend years polishing an image, while one reaction exposes the basement. And once someone sees where you bleed, they remember it. They may smile. They may stay polite. They may act normal. But now they know where the door is. Most people announce their pressure points emotionally. If that sentence bothered you, subscribe now. Because people who hate being exposed need comfort. People who want power need truth. This channel is not for fragile egos trying to feel better. It's for people tired of being transparent to the wrong people. Because once they find the weak point, watch what happens next. They test it again. That random joke? Test. That sudden coldness? Test. That delayed reply after they saw your last reaction? Test. That tiny disrespect slipped into conversation? Test. They're not confused. They're calibrating. Can I still move this person? Can I press the same nerve twice? Can I get the same reaction cheaper this time? Because the first reaction gives them information. The second reaction gives them certainty. And certainty becomes strategy. Listen carefully. The first time may be emotion. The second time is training. Your first reaction often becomes the blueprint for the second attack. Watch closely. People don't keep treating you badly by accident. They're responding to what works. That's the part emotional people never understand. You think they're disrespectful. Maybe. But they're also efficient. If anger gets your attention faster than calm, they'll use anger. If silence makes you chase, they'll use silence. If coldness makes you explain yourself, they'll become colder. If disappearing makes you panic, they've found a cheap way to control your time. Because once someone learns the lowest effort way to move you, they stop paying full price. Why give respect when insecurity gets faster results? Why communicate when distance makes you come running? Why be honest when confusion keeps you attached? Many people are not being mistreated. They are being responded to. That sentence will offend the right people. Good. Because every desperate reaction writes instructions. Every chase becomes policy. Every emotional outburst becomes a user manual. Your reactions teach people which version of them works on you. If you know someone who keeps teaching people to disrespect them, like this video and share it with them. Some people only listen when truth comes from a stranger. And if you refuse to share it because it sounds personal, it probably is. Now let's reverse something people get wrong. The loudest person is rarely the strongest. Usually, they're the captured one. The one shouting. The one defending. The one trying to prove. The one demanding to be understood. That person is already inside the other person's frame. Because calm people still choose. Reactive people perform on command. Baltasar Gracian said, "Never contend with a man who has nothing to lose." Most people misunderstand that quote. It does not glorify recklessness. It warns you about imbalance. The person who loses control first has already entered a fight where they risk more than the other side. They risk reputation, leverage, clarity, self-command. Meanwhile, the calmer person spends nothing. That is why screaming feels powerful, while costing you everything. Noise often belongs to the captured mind. You think you're disciplined because you stayed quiet. Wrong. Silence is not self-control. Sometimes it's just reaction with the volume off. You smiled, then checked their page 3 times. You said nothing, then replayed the conversation for 2 hours. You looked calm, then drafted messages you never sent. You went to sleep and brought them with you. That is not peace. That is possession. Some people haven't spoken to you in weeks, yet still control your evenings. That should embarrass you, because being ignored publicly, then obeying privately, is still obedience. Many people are not trapped by others. They are trapped by unfinished reactions. You can wear a calm face while carrying a hijacked mind. So what does real control look like? Not fake stoicism, not acting cold, not pretending not to care. That performance fools weak people only. Real power is harder. You feel the disrespect. You feel the urge. You feel the heat rise. And you do nothing. No text. No explanation. No scene. No fast reply. Now they have a problem. They can't read damage. They can't measure impact. They can't tell if the weapon worked. They swing and hit fog. That is power. Not because you felt nothing, because they gained nothing. Weak people react instantly. Strong people choose timing. Immediate people are easy. Delayed people are expensive. When response is delayed, access is denied. If you're done letting people walk into your mind whenever they want, prove it publicly. Type this in the comments. My mind is no longer public property. If you can't type that, you may still be renting space to people who never paid for entry. The moment you stop reacting, something strange happens. The performance gets awkward, fast, because now there's no smoke, no chaos, no emotional debris to hide inside. Just them and what they said. Watch people carefully when they fail to get a reaction. Some laugh harder. Some repeat themselves. Some suddenly become nice. Some get irritated way too fast. Why? Because silence removes camouflage. The moment you stop emotionally participating, they become visible. Here's the part nobody teaches. Your reaction was protecting them. The second you explode, attention leaves their behavior and lands on yours. Now you're the event. Now they escape inspection. That's why weak people provoke emotionally. Not to express themselves, to redirect focus. And most people help them do it instantly. One reaction, and suddenly the manipulator becomes the victim. The disrespectful person becomes misunderstood. The liar becomes offended. The guilty become emotional auditors. But silence ruins the transfer. Now the tension stays where it belongs. On them. And many people cannot survive prolonged exposure to themselves. That's why silence unsettles people who expected access to you. Because when you don't react, their tactic returns home. Some people only meet themselves when you stop participating. And most of them hate the introduction. People think reactions are moments. They're not. They're rehearsals. Every time you react instantly, your nervous system learns speed over control. Again, 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 until reaction stops being something you do and becomes the way you exist. That's when people become dangerous to themselves. Because now the world doesn't need to hit hard anymore. Small things start controlling you. A look, a delay, a tone shift, one dry response, and your entire nervous system changes temperature. That is not sensitivity. That is conditioning. Your first reaction may have been emotional. Your 100th is mechanical. Now watch how terrifying this becomes socially. Once people learn your triggers, they stop needing power. Timing becomes enough. A pause controls you. Silence controls you. Attention controls you. Absence controls you. You become remotely operated by emotional patterns. That's why Nietzsche said, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." Commanded. Not someday. Immediately. Because if a person can predict your emotional movement, they can enter your mind before you even speak. That's what reactive people never understand. Predictable emotions create cheap access. And cheap access destroys respect fast. One reaction is an event. Repeated reaction becomes architecture. And once that architecture hardens, people stop approaching you carefully because they already know which buttons work. You thought the loss was the argument, the insult, the disrespect. Wrong. The real loss happened after, when they left, but stayed in your nervous system. That's the part people miss. Anybody can say something stupid. Anybody can provoke emotion. But the dangerous people? They don't just affect your mood. They rearrange your internal world. Now your thoughts orbit them. Your energy follows them. Your attention reports back to them all day. For 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days. Some people never leave the moment at all. That's why reacting is expensive. Because every uncontrolled reaction silently tells the world, my inner state can be edited from the outside. And once people discover that, some will use it recreationally. The second you react, you may lose the moment. But when other people can repeatedly move your emotional state, you lose authorship of yourself. If this message reached you at the right time, the next video on your screen will show you how people bait reactions on purpose. Watch it now. Subscribe, then go through the full playlist. Because once you understand the pattern, you stop living inside it.